Goo Morning Folks, thank you for tuning into this episode of the BradicalRadical Show. I'm your host, Bradley. Behind me is Miss Jonzer, and we are continuing our Affront against God and playing this game. So let's load up back in there and see what other heresy I'm gonna get involved with.
We got jumped.
That's
a different game.
But that is a story for another time. Because right now, Miles is talking to Gaki. Is the rest of the palace like this? I want to see what else is here.
And I'd be humbled to show you.
Wow, really? I suppose he isn't a massive creep after all. No, he's a massive creep, honey. Honey.
Honey.
You could do
Dumb
better.
girls are the best.
He called me dumb.
Excuse me. We're both being quite loud, and I...
Who's this gothic prince?
Me.
Oh, Master Gaki, you are back. Again. For the third time today.
A pale-skinned vampire. Oh, he's literally a vampire. Okay. I forgot that we were in hell. Stands at the top of the stairs looking down on the two foxes as if they're children. His paleness gives him a strange regal beauty that captures Miles' fascination more than the crystal floors and cute fox demons. At least for the moment. You actually know this guy? I thought he was just lying about being a counselor.
She doesn't trust me. How cruel!
A counselor? Is that the lie he's telling now?
What? Salios, you rat! I'm going to rip your throat out!
Salios is an interesting name. Gaki bares his teeth, but even under the fox boy's murderous glare, the man holds his expression of indifference.
You are not a counselor, though. Not while your father is still alive. And even if he does die, you are yet the last son.
Then I'll kill my family and then you!
Please, do not threaten my life. I have a mortgage to pay.
Alright, game. That was a good line. Please do not threaten my life. I have a mortgage to pay.
Amazing.
I'll give you that one. Who are you exactly?
I am the governor's secretary. As Master Gaki said, my name is Salios.
It's an empty title. No one in this place actually does anything. Unlike me, I do pretty things like you. All the time.
Everything Gaki says just makes me sad and angry and...
Why?
You know what, Jonzer?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need the earbuds for this one, right?
Yeah, put that back in. You need to experience this full force.
Alright. Full force. Jump force.
Unlike me, I do pretty things like you all the time, is what this man said to me.
Alright.
And I did not approve. Gaki wraps his hands around Miles' waist and guides her away from Salios.
Let's get out of here. I promised to show you the rest of the palace, remember?
Your family's manor is just as nice as this place, Master Gaki. So please, take your playthings to your own home and stop bringing them here. You know how the governess feels about uninvited guests.
She'll be delighted. Now stop butting in.
I cannot allow this, Master Gaki. You know that.
The only thing I know is that you're this close to becoming the gunk I pick out of my teeth, Salios.
It's because you're too far away.
I'm literally like...
You're too far away.
That may be so, but I am sorry, Master Gaki. I must ask that you stop with your games now.
Jonzer,
Yeah.
you broke it.
What's that?
Ignoring Gaki's threat, Salios turns to fully address
I
Miles.
apologize that Master Gaki has led you astray, miss. However, we do not allow just anyone to roam the palace. I must ask you to leave.
I'm not with him, and I'm not just anyone. I am the great Gummiho
Gummy hoe?
of the main hell government, Miles. I have been personally sent by the most evil one. For a moment, no one says anything, and the entrance hall fills with the resounding echoes of Miles' grand announcement. Salios looks at the supposed Gummiho's twin tails with furrowing brows, believing that he either misheard her or miscounted the tails. Gaki, on the other hand...
Gumio.
Gaki's side-splitting laughter breaks the silence, and his whole distinguished gentleman act shatters like cracked glass. The girl's two tails twitch, and her foot slams hard on the crystal floor. There's nothing funny about it. Gaki isn't the first to laugh at her, and he won't be the last. And no matter what everyone else says, and logic says, Miles knows she is a Gummiho. Therefore, she deserves the respect of everyone. A Gummiho is, after all, the highest form of fox demon there is. No lesser demon could be the big number, most trusted employee of the Dark One.
Ah, so that's who you are.
It was a
You
long
were
string of
told of
numbers
your
that I
arrival,
didn't feel like trying
but
to read.
the paper specifically said that it was a kitsune from the audit department who was coming. It didn't mention a full name, just that it began with that letter.
My lord forgot my name again.
So you are the kitsune, correct?
Accept your position! Miles flinches. She can barely bring herself to say it, but she has a job to do. If the letter says Kitsune, then she will have to suck it up. That is correct.
Sorry, can't hear you. What was that?
With a mischievous smile on his face, Gaki leans in close to her. Miles wants to knock all of his beautiful teeth right out, but as the boy will be extremely pleased to know, she does a very good job at sucking things up when necessary.
What?
Game, I don't like what you're making me read. I said...
I have heard enough. Sorry for the inconvenience, Miss Gumiho.
Gumaho?
Gumaho?
Miles blinks twice, staring at the pale man in front of her. Does he really believe her, or is it just pity? It's definitely pity, but the kind that doesn't make you feel bad about yourself. Instead, it gives the Kitsune, I mean Gumiho, a warm feeling in her stomach that definitely isn't just indigestion. With everything cleared up, Celios bows to Miles with a well-mannered smile.
I will let the governess know of your arrival.
Wait, I'll go. The pale man walks off before the girl can stop him. The door slams in the distance, and she's left alone once again with Gaki. Oh great, he left me with this pervert.
Oh, great! Celios finally left us alone.
Miles looks at him. Why is this creep staring at me? Gaki looks back at her.
Finally, she's starting to fall in love with me. Just a few more seconds of gazing longingly into each other's eyes and...
Miles raises her head and stomps away to the opposite side of the entrance hall.
Oh no! Our love gaze was broken! This is all your fault, Celios!
The two foxes stand in absolute silence. Miles doing everything she can to ignore Gaki's presence, and Gaki doing everything he can to make himself known.
So, Gumiho, huh?
The girl resolves that she should ignore him, just as one should ignore an irritable child.
That was a good joke. I haven't laughed like that in ages.
It isn't a joke. I am a... Sadly, they both act like children, so Miles' resolve doesn't last very long. Luckily enough for everyone, there are many things about Gaki that doesn't last very long, too, such as his ability to concentrate on more than one thing at the same time.
Wanna hear another one?
Another one what?
A joke.
No.
I tried to eat a clock once, but I got really anxious about the time.
What?
Because it was too time-consuming, I know.
No, because it was 2 old cocks.
I hate him.
Miles bites down on her bottom lip, inhaling deeply as she tries to keep her composure.
It's a good one, isn't it?
No! Small sound escapes the girl's mouth as she turns her back to Gaki. Sorry, this game's just eating into my brain and I'm losing the ability to read. No. That was the worst joke I've ever heard, but I can't stop. She covers her mouth with her hand.
Hey, you're laughing, aren't you?
No.
You are!
The Kitsune's whole face lights up suddenly and the girl abruptly stops laughing. He's kinda cute like this. No! Bad! Even though Gaki's done nothing but get under her skin, there's something in his joyful smile that makes her hate him a little less.
Wanna
Just
hear
a
another
little.
one? I got a ton.
A skeleton? However, Gaki's endearing expressions are the other thing that never lasts long enough. Sometimes, like all of us, through no fault of his own.
What are you doing
Can
here,
I lean
boy?
back like 2 inches now and hear the game still?
No. Also, hi, you're regal. Miles looks up and stares at the stern-faced beauty who's standing atop the stairs. No matter how much the woman's brow knit or her mouth twists, her brows knit. Brows knit?
Stitch, like, looking like they're pressed together kind of thing. You know?
Miles can still feel her stomach flip with the empty feeling of awe-inspired inferiority. A white-haired girl follows one step behind the woman as she descends the steps, walking towards the 2 guests. The other girl stands directly behind her, with her head lowered as she almost drowns in the streams of the woman in front's black hair. Celios appears at the top of the stairs and runs ahead of them. She stops at the bottom of the steps and announces to Grand Woman, as if her importance is already clear
The
to
8th
everyone.
governess of the 6th district and lady of Kuminoito Palace, Anzuza...
Anzu raises her hand, and Celios becomes quiet. She turns to look behind her and stares down at the small girl who's clutching onto her dress sleeve.
Out of my shadow, pet. We have a first impression to make.
The girl says something so low and quiet that no one but the governess can hear her.
I won't repeat myself.
Slowly, the girl walks out from her hiding place and proceeds down the stairs, standing beside Celios. When Miles looks at her, the maiden's scowl deepens. The supposed Gumiho looks away, turning to Anzu, but the feeling of the white-haired girl's gaze only burns hotter on her neck.
Why are you here?
She is the employee from the...
Not you. Her. Answer me. Why are you here? My taxes are not due for another millennium.
Satan collects taxes? Yes, but by then you'll have laundered countless thousands of souls and made your gateway. That actually makes sense if they're souls that he's collecting. Proceed. In truth, the auditor doesn't know anything about the problems in Kumanoito, besides the fact that they fall under the blanket term of soul laundering. Miles isn't on to her, much like the governor of the 3rd District isn't on to her. Very few people who've had the pleasure of being on to Anzu are still alive. Well, let's not ruin the surprise for the naive girl. This is just standard procedure, I assure you.
Sending someone standard to do something standard? That does sound like Lucy.
Lucy? Lucy? How dare she defile the name of the most abhorrent one? Rio? You should show proper respect to our overlord.
When respect is shown, respect is given in kind. Lucy should know this by now.
This foul-mouthed whore. If she says my lord's name like that one more time, I'm going to. Miles' tails begin to bristle, and the sternness of Anzu's face softens into amusement. Both of them open their mouths to say something that would certainly displease the other. Before they can finish, Gaki steps forward, placing himself between them.
Hey there, mistress. Long time no see.
The governess' face hardens again as she turns away from the two foxes.
My friend and I were just...
Celios?
Yes, governess?
Anzu, I thought we were...
Gaki steps towards the governess, but is instantly repelled by a shock of static.
I'm sorry.
The white-haired girl looks to Gaki with a cool expression, smoke still rising from her fingertips. She says nothing before dropping her gaze back to the ground.
A room is ready for our standard guest, correct?
And look, if this is about the time I might have gotten into your potted plants, there's a very good
Yes, my governess. It was prepared moments ago. It was a little short notice, but I am sure that everything is up to...
Standard?
Anzu's eyes gleam as she acknowledges her standard guest once more. There's no way that this woman is going to make Miles' job any easier. The fact should be worrying, however. However, the supposed Gumiho has gleefully accepted the challenge in the name of the overlord Lucifer.
I was going to say regulations, but yes, I suppose that works too.
Excellent.
It's hard for Miles to uphold Anzu's glare, because she isn't the subject of just one death stare, but two. And that doesn't include Gaki's staring, which is less deadly and more sickening. I don't think everyone's been introduced. Who's the other one?
That's Gaki. He's an infantile pest.
You're an infinite pain in the... I meant the other one. Other one.
Celios? Have you forgotten his name already? My, what a standard brain you have.
Perhaps I didn't introduce myself properly, my governess.
Maybe he's just not that memorable.
The other one.
Celios, what is this standard person talking about?
Her. Miles shafts her finger in the white-haired girl's direction, but the glaring girl simply harumphs and turns her head away. It's common courtesy to introduce everyone, isn't it?
But I thought we were doing things as standard, not common. Though, you are probably both.
Did she just call me a basic bitch?
Yeah.
The fox girl's cheek burn a crimson red. All her patience staying calm boils over, and she steps forward, ready to explode. Before she can, however, another voice speaks up in her place.
Common? There's nothing common about her.
Oh dear. Gaki should absolutely stop right there and zip his mouth. If he does, his object of affection will be powerless to his charm, and her impression of him won't be damaged by the dreadful words floating around in his tarnished mind.
Her measurements exceed all expectations for someone so plain-looking, not to mention that she has a filthy taste in underwear. Her cream panties cannot fool me. I know they simply mask the warm gushes of her feminine arousal.
Excuse me? He's very passionate.
Holy shit!
He is so passionate.
Oh! Oh no! Oh! I never want to hear the warm gushes of her feminine arousal again. I never want to hear that phrase ever again. Damn it! Gaki grabs hold of Miles' hand and drops to one knee, bowing his head towards her.
Dearest beauty, I accept you. Because you know what they say. You can always tell a woman's libido by her sock drawer. And I have no doubt in my mind that your sock drawer is full of week old, sweaty, athlete's foot-ridden, cum-stained socks.
No, it's a good thing the Bluetooth speaker cut out. But I'm forced to read it to you because the Bluetooth headset cut out.
Alright.
Dearest Miles, I accept you, because you know what they say. You can always tell a woman's libido by her sock drawer, and I have no doubt in my mind that your sock drawer is full of weak, old, sweaty, athlete's foot-ridden, cum-stained socks.
Why are we playing this? Why is the music like this?
A gaggle of horror-stricken faces stare at Gaki, silence prevailing a moment longer than he expected. In truth, what he expected was for his object of affection to be so moved by his words that she would strip down bare and...
Oh my.
The blonde shoe slams into the fox boy's face, kicking him across the palace hall and onto the steps resting at Anzu's feet.
Ugh, thought I had her with that one. Ouch!
The governess walks down the last few steps, treading on Gaki's tail as she heads towards the silent girl. A slender finger lifts strands of the girl's hair towards Anzu's face before letting them drop. The girl blushes and bows her head, avoiding eye contact with the governess.
Oh, you meant this one?
Yes, for my report, I must know the names of everyone I'll be working with. So what is her name?
Is that a standard question?
Please, for the love of the damned one, not this again.
Introduce my pet to you? That sounds rather silly.
I introduce Dachi to people all the time. Anzu rests her hand on the smaller girl's head, forcing her head up to look back at her and revealing the deep blush on her alabaster cheeks. The two stand before the others, always staring at each other, as if they are the only two that exist in the world. Ship it? Miles just starts to feel heavy from watching them. When Anzu's gaze rolls towards her, she realizes why. This isn't love in the governess' eyes, it's pure, undiluted.
The young girl is Callie. She is the governor's personal assistant.
Yeah, very personal assistant.
Oh my.
Anzu lifts her foot and crushes the kitsune tails beneath her shoe once more, her face lighting up with the first genuine smile Miles has seen. It's breathtaking. It's hard to hate such a beautiful smile, no matter what prodded about.
It's only standard to have someone around who will always put me first, no matter what. Don't you agree, Carly, darling?
Yes, my governess.
Kelly trips over her own words, her heated gaze finally breaking away from Anzu. The girl catches a smile staring at her, and her blush turns fiery with hatred.
My governess has nothing to hide. Your search here will be fruitless.
Let me decide that for myself.
As you wish. Come with me. We shall see that you have what you need to start your standard procedure.
The governess walks back up the stairs with her pet close behind her, and Gaki on their heels. Anzu stops and turns to the boy, the procession behind her coming to a staggering halt.
Celios, dispose of this foot stain. You know how I feel about commoners loitering in my halls.
Why do your feet stain things?
Commoners?
Yes, you are a commoner. Return once your father
God,
has
this game.
crept, and then I will considering you more than worthless. Until then, out!
The woman waves her hand in Gaki's direction in dark force, materializing as a gust of magenta air knocks the fox backwards, flying him straight into the arms of Celius. The vampire tries to help the boy to his feet, but the moment the kitsune has his wits about him again, he lashes out, pinning Celius to the ground.
Hurry up, girl! We haven't got all day.
Miles follows the other two women up the stairs and through a door. Just as it shuts, the fox girl hears a high-pitched yelp, sight of blood spilling onto the crystal floor is the last she sees of the arguing men. For now. Murder? Like most things in Kumanoito Palace, the office is rarely used for its intended purposes. The only things that look like they may be used for business are the few massive bookshelves lining the walls, but even they are occupied with frivolous trinkets and dolls. How Anzu acquired these trinkets is shrouded in as much mystery as the woman herself is. However, it's important to note that the biggest trinket the governess owns is her personal assistant, Kali. Don't like that.
Don't like that.
Therefore, it shouldn't be shocking that the strangest thing about the room are the photos, some more decent than others, that capture Kali's delicate beauty. The subject herself sees nothing wrong with said pictures. In fact, they make her swell with pride when she notices Miles' attention gravitated to some of the less decent ones. With the governess and her assistant what her governess and her assistant actually do in this room is hard to tell with just a cursory investigation. Like everything else in Kumanoito Palace, Kali and the other trinkets can be used in more ways than one.
Oh my.
That fox gives me such a headache.
Yeah? Anzu drapes herself over the love seat by the window. She sighs and swoons, showing her relief to finally be out of that fox's undesirable company.
I as well.
Kali stands by the armchair, close enough that if the governess wishes, she can run her fingers through the waterfall of Kali's silvery locks again. Anzu doesn't wish to, but just in case, if there's the smallest chance that it will happen, Kali wants to be ready.
Am I cursed? Or is the universe simply testing my patience?
Well, you are in hell, so...
I believe you withstood the torture well, my lady.
All that whining.
Anzu unironically whines loudly, rolling her eyes far back into her skull.
Hell only knows how long it'll be until that fox disappears for good.
Miles stands by the door and nods with agreeance. I kind of agree with them. I can't imagine having to put up with Gaki all the time, no matter how cute his face is. And all that leering is so creepy, no matter how cute his face is. And the things he says, no matter how cute his face is, it's just unforgivable.
Is he okay?
But Gaki does have a cute face. A really cute face. Still, he's a nuisance that should have been swallowed, not born. Jesus.
Should have been what?
Good lord. This fucking game.
It ruined the mood of the whole day.
I wouldn't go quite that far. She is just an insignificant fox, after all.
Wait, she?
At least it's over now. We can put it all behind us and enjoy ourselves again.
If only that were true.
Anzu and Kali look over their shoulders at Miles, staring at her as if they expect her to disappear in a cloud of smoke.
It's still here, though.
Miles' ears twitch with annoyance. It's her own fault for not taking the governess at face value. The woman's personality should have been obvious by now, though figuring out the obvious isn't exactly the girl's strong suit. I can hear you two. You do know that, right?
I think it hurt us.
That's not possible. I thought for certain all that whining she did must have impaired her hearing.
Why is she Gladys?
I don't know.
Why is she so sassy?
My hearing far surpasses every other demon's. How dare they insult me? The two women continue to stage whisper in front of her.
She's staring at us.
May I throw her out? Once she's gone, all can be perfect again.
Stop stalling and give me a key card already so I can begin my work.
I think she's mad at me. How cute.
Anzu mouths quips up in a smile.
Remember who you are, fox. And then, remember who I am.
Miles' tail stretch out behind her in pent-up rage, but Anzu is far more delighted than insulted by the girl's demands. At least, for now, she is.
Kali, get the fox her key card. All access with the standard limitations, of course. And quickly. The longer she's here, the more common everything becomes.
Of course.
I don't know why. It was playing fine.
I know. Kali passes under the octopus chandelier and sits at the large, pearly surface desk. An obedient silence surrounds her as she works. Limitations to what? I'll need complete access to the palace. Anzu plays with a lock of her own raven hair, twisting it between her fingers.
Are you almost done, Kali? I think the fox is trying to speak to me.
What a bitch.
Almost done, my governess.
What are those limitations you mentioned? Anzu sighs heavily, finally turning her head to stare directly at Miles. What limit?
The answer to that question is one of the limitations.
Limitations? Yeah, right. What's so special about this palace that the succubus has put up restrictions? There's definitely something incriminating here, and I have a feeling that it's hinting exactly where I'm not allowed to go. Damn, I'm good. I should have gone into espionage sooner.
Any other questions?
Will you answer them?
Probably not.
Then no. Kelly presents the keycard to Anzu on a small silver tray. A little excessive, if you ask Miles, but what in this place isn't excessive?
Keycard, my governess.
Kelly faces Miles for the first time since coming to the office, but it's Anzu who speaks up.
This keycard will permit you access to the necessary documents for your task. If it's used in any of the restricted areas, I'll be notified and the keycard will immediately be confiscated.
And those restricted areas
Places only perverts and troublemakers would be interested in.
Could you be more specific?
I thought that was a very specific description.
Specific is not a word that the governess enjoys, almost as much as she doesn't enjoy words like common, objective, and her own last name, in fact.
Well, for example, any bedroom that is not yours, and this office.
Anywhere else?
Nowhere that you should naturally find yourself, unless a grave ending is what you seek.
But I'm already dead. Do I deflect, ignore the comment, or bite back at her?
Deflect.
Now that's a... Why is that cut off a little bit? Upset that I'm only noticing that now.
Do you just fit to screen?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Thank you.
Transform, fit to screen.
Hold on, it's being stupid.
Is it not letting you click on the right thing?
No, you know what? It's locked. That's why.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Do I deflect, ignore the comment, or bite back at her?
Deflect.
Deflection!
Objection.
Then these limitations will benefit both of us.
So, you finally understand how things are?
No, but we both have objectives we need to fulfill.
What are your objectives, exactly?
To not end up in a grave situation. The governess lowers her gaze, laughing enduriously, a splash of color coming to her pale face. Clearly irritates Kali to see that expression being shown to anyone but herself.
Isn't that funny?
But I want to make this crystal clear. I'm only here to do my job, so in the future, I appreciate a little more cooperation.
Are you implying that I haven't been cooperating? Carly,
Yes.
have I done something wrong?
Yes.
Yes.
No, never, my governess.
You failed to make yourself clear, Fox. Now you're simply wasting my time.
This whole place is a waste of my
You
time.
have your key card, so you can start your work. And the sooner you start, the sooner you'll leave.
Fine. If you show me where you keep your records,
I
then...
don't know where they are.
Excuse.
Then how am I...
Celios does, though. Come along.
Finally, we're getting somewhere. When they arrive at the entrance hall, Miles is shocked to see that Gaki's still here, and, having lived up to his threat, is picking the chunks of Celia's flesh from his teeth. All evidence that a struggle has taken place is being cleaned up by the pale bite victim. The closer the girl gets, the more bite marks she sees on the both of them. It's evident that the vampire has a lot more bite in him than she first thought.
I see that you failed to control the pest.
I tried, governess, but there's only so much harm I can do without fearing that Master Gaki will press charges.
Like you expected any less, On. I'm both a fighter and a lover. You know that.
Anzu peers at the fox boy. The disgusted look turns her pretty mouth to something equally beautiful, but more menacing than before.
How about congratulations for your champion?
The raven-haired woman turns back to Celios without comment.
Celios, perhaps this thing would be more in your weight class?
He looks up to Miles and then back to the governess, nodding with understanding and regret for his previous failure.
See to it that she's put straight to work and kept busy. I want her gone as soon as possible.
Yes, governess.
And, Fox, remember what we talked about.
I'm not scared of you, but you should certainly be afraid of me.
Sorry, I finally did a thing that I've been trying to do for like 30 minutes.
Proud of you. Miles smirks, bowing her head to the governess before meeting Celios at the bottom of the stairs. Vampire and the self-professed Gumiho cross the entrance hall over to a concealed door that leads to a maintenance hallway. The hall is nothing more than bare wooden walls with none of the splendor of the rest of the building. Much to Miles' relief, it's only her and Celios in the hall. Gaki quite foolishly decides to follow Anzu and Kali back to the office. Foxboy won't see the inside of the office today, though.
Did you hear something, Carly?
So, told her that story. You know, the one about my father destroying the fourth pillar. Nothing too mind-blowing. Solid pickup tale.
There seems to be an annoying buzzing noise, my governess.
Wait, have I told you guys that story before? You know, the one where my family is basically dubbed the heroes of the war? I didn't already tell you that, did I?
It feels like it's burrowing its way into my skull.
No, wait, I did. Never mind. So, I told her about the pillar, because, you know, nothing like some phallic imagery and some fake-ass daddy issues to get her hot.
Dispose of it.
Something.
When I'm done telling her the whole thing, guess what the little slut does?
Oh dear. Again.
Now!
Gladly, my governess.
She's...
When Miles enters the archive, she sighs with relief, grateful there's one place in this insane palace that looks like how it's supposed to. Best of all, it's the archives, a place where the auditor can feel at home. She's quite used to spending her days in a pigeon-sized cubicle, so the floor-to-ceiling shelves that threaten to collapse under the weight of all their contents are right up her alley.
I apologize for the lack of light, and the smell. No one but myself usually works in here.
As the girl walks behind the vampire, she realizes that the room's dusty old paper smell is the very same scent that's stuck to Stelios. There's also something else in the air, though, something that's a little bitter to her nose. The more Miles fixates on the smell, the more prominent it becomes, till suddenly it smells something her host should apologize for. My earbud died.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
The left one?
Yeah.
Here you go. I'm wondering why the connection's so bad. It's probably just because the batteries need a little bit of charges.
It smells like vodka and lemons.
Alright, cool.
Tasty.
What can I get for you? The sooner we start?
The sooner I can leave. Anzu was clear
I
on
was
that.
going to say, the sooner I can find it for you, but that works too.
Stelios is a bro. I like him. Sorry. Legummiho feels bad since the vampire isn't Anzu, and he has a set of things to get on her bad side. It's just very hard to stop the governess getting under one's skin, even when she's not actually present.
No need. But I'd advise you to be wary of jumping to conclusions here, even if it's in your nature not to listen to my advice.
My nature? What? He thinks all foxes are like Gaki? Is that
I
it?
shouldn't waste my breath. No one ever takes my advice. Maybe I'm just distrustful to everyone by nature.
The condescending little shit. I feel sorry for you, but now I hope Gaki really did eat your... Yep. Stelios stops suddenly, and Miles walks right into him. The vampire turns to look at her with a displeased frown as the shelves around them wobble frighteningly.
Perhaps you should take a seat. The aisles will be too narrow for the both of us. Plus, she must be tired.
I'm fine. I'm not just some nuisance you can cast
I
aside.
politely insist that you take a seat, miss. I've never had to explain the filing system. I'll probably make it sound more complicated than it actually is.
And I politely decline, so lead the way.
If you insist. I really hope you won't.
I do. 1 for Miles, no for the bloodsucker. As Stelios predicted, the halls are too narrow for both of them. The more Miles tries to help find the records, the more tangled the two of them become.
The files for
Ooh.
the upper tier collectors are just by your ankle.
Oh.
If you let me pass, I can...
You mean here? The girl bends down and reaches for the folders, but her butt hits the shelves and everything around them rocks.
No, that's the lower tier folder.
Stelios holds his hand out and tries to steady the rocking shelves. What? But I thought... In a panic, Miles pulls her hand away from the folders. Her sleeve catches on the tooth of a dog's skull artifact.
I explained that already. The colors correspond with the... please, be careful with that skull.
The auditor pulls her sleeve away from the skull and feel her ripping as she fights with it, all the while knocking into the shelves and to Stelios' dismay, causing more trouble than he first anticipated.
Please, stop moving.
Miles finally freezes and waits anxiously for the shelves to stop rocking. Slowly, everything stops moving and she's free to move again. She looks over to sees Stelios' blanched expression, which, for once, isn't trying to sugarcoat his complete horror. Maybe you should explain this filing system one more time just for clarity. Stelios lets his hand drop away from the shelves. As much as he wants to refuse to explain the whole thing again, he also doesn't want the fox to ruin his system because of her lack of knowledge. Taking a deep breath, he begins the explanation all
Our
over
files
again.
are organized primarily by their appeal grade. The grades are how you find the aisles. Then they are categorized by their total contributions to the gross increase of soul influx, also referred to as spirits.
And spirits determine the purity level, right?
They're only a small aspect of the purity level. Governess Anzu manually grades their purity on a biannual basis. We're still in the process of reviewing the purity level of 43% of the ward. So, as you can see, we needed to subcategorize depending on the difference between this purity level evaluation and the last biannual purity level evaluation. Did you get all that?
What sort of house of horrors is this filing system? Of course, couldn't be simpler.
It's not a common filing system, I know.
Or one that makes a lick of sense, but that seems to be a common theme in the 6th district. What in this place makes any sense?
You've already seen how Anzu feels about common things.
So she does everything she can to come up with the most impossible solutions to the simplest problems. Sounds completely logical. Milo's strained smile doesn't hide her confusion very well. With the deepest of sighs, Aelios renews his earlier offer and prays Lucifer that she'll see reason this time.
How about you tell me what you need and I'll get the files for you? It'll save time.
The girl's stubborn pride completely evaporates in an expression of joyful defeat. There's only so much she can do after all. Yes, that's a great idea.
If you'd listened to me when I first suggested it, we would have saved even more time, though.
Thank you, and I'm sorry.
Don't worry. The filing system... you'll get used to it.
It takes the vampire no time at all to locate all the files and bring them to the small desk that the auditor is occupying. But, while he's doing that...
Alright.
This episode has run a little long, and we must end it before this game says anything else that's god-awful and makes me hate living. So for now, I once again have cursed you all by making you watch this.
Yeah, it's fine.
And as always, good night and joy be with you all.